Hi, thanks so much for coming. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about the video lessons that I've been using in my upper school chemistry classes. So I teach 10th grade chemistry, and I also teach AP chemistry. And so I'm going to start by talking a little bit about what a video lesson is, just so that we're all on the same page. And then I want to talk to you about why they're so great and what they've allowed me to do in my classroom. So in a typical video lesson, all the video lessons are made by me. It's me talking, it's me handwriting problem solutions over a typical PowerPoint presentation. They start with a set of objectives that is then revisited at the end of each lesson. And then within the video, there'll be some skill-based instruction. It's always very small, discrete chunks of information. And then there might be some step-by-step problem solving, depending on the skills we're looking at. We've also started using them to demonstrate lab techniques. So rather than teaching students how to use a temperature probe at the beginning of lab, they can learn by watching it the night before and come in and actually start using the temperature probe right away. And then there might be some, at the end, there's always a set of practice problems that the students complete, submit digitally to me, so I get instant feedback. I come into class knowing already how much they've gathered from the video, and then they get access to the solutions to those problems, so they also know how they've done watching that video. So just to give you a sense, I'm going to show you two really short clips. Most of my videos are between 3 to 10 minutes. I'm not going to show you the full length of anything, but I'll show you just to give you a flavor. This first one is what I call a labcast video, and what's great about this video is actually recorded in our lab using our equipment, so the kids know exactly what's expected of them the next day when they come in, and so there's no surprises. I need to click to play, right?
By the end of this video, you should be able to attach a vernier temperature probe.
So it starts with a set of objectives, which you can see.
That's an auger probe and set it up for
Fast forward a bit. Maybe. Or maybe I'm not. Sorry.
And manipulate data and graphs and add a best fit.
And so here I am in our actual lab using our actual equipment, and I'll talk to the students. Forgive my giant stain on my lab coat. It's a well-used lab coat. I do wash it, but chemistry's messy. So they'll be able to identify me, their teacher, by the messy lab coat. So they actually get to see exactly what they're going to be doing the next day. And then the benefit, too, is we'll leave this piece of equipment for a while and then come back to it later in the year. If they forget how to use it, they can just go watch the video without having to take class time. So you get the idea. Another example, which I'm not going to play for you, I'm sure nobody really feels like doing stoichiometry over lunch, but this is an example of problem-solving videos. So it models problem-solving for the students. This tends to be one of the more challenging units, and last year when I implemented this method, it was one of the most successful years I've ever had with this unit, and most of the students attributed it to these video lessons. So interestingly, I actually really want to tell you not so much about the video lessons, but what the video lessons have enabled me to do in the classroom. So I look at this as a means to a much bigger end. So why have I chosen to do this? First and foremost, this has freed class time for me to do the more interesting things. All of last year, I didn't stand at the board and give notes once. I don't lecture at all in my classes anymore. Instead, all of our classes are structured around exploration activities. My students are collecting data constantly, analyzing data constantly, and furthermore, traditionally students would go home with a worksheet to practice problems after hearing a lecture in class. They don't do that anymore. They sit and practice the problems in my class with their peers to help them, with me to help them. They can identify their weak spots. I can identify their weak spots. They don't have to suffer through it sort of on their own somewhere. So all of that problem solving happens right there in my class. The other thing that's been really positive is the student ownership over learning. So students watch the video, and the whole time they're monitoring their own understanding. My students tell me they pause, they rewind, they replay. Some tell me, oh, I got that, so I fast forwarded a little bit. They are constantly aware of what they need and how to get it. They also, there's always a portion of the form that they fill out after watching the video where they answer questions, where they can ask questions. Those questions often form the basis of our discussion the next day in class. So students really use that. They're constantly monitoring their own understanding as they go. It's also allowed me to differentiate instruction in a way I've never been able to do before. First, I come to class armed with some data about how my students did on the previous night's lesson, so I'm ready to sort of troubleshoot here and there. And it also has allowed me to sort of sit with one group of kids that might be struggling with a skill, while another group of kids goes and works on an exploration, and vice versa. It's also been really great, so Will mentioned one of my interests is encouraging more girls in the STEM field. We also tend to have slightly male-dominated chemistry classes, especially in the more advanced classes, and occasionally this could lead to our girls being a little more quiet. I found that kids that often are hesitant to speak in class are some of the first to write really insightful questions in the question portion of these video lessons. And I've also noticed that when I put their question up on the board, I don't usually identify them, but when I put their question up as a discussion question, suddenly they're part of the discussion, even in class. They're actively engaging in the discussion, where ordinarily they'd be a little shy or a little more quiet. Some other benefits, it provides instant feedback to the students and to me. They know where they stand. They know, if they were able to sort of grasp the key points of the video. And it's also served as a great review tool for all levels. My AP students now, obviously we don't reiterate the things that happen in Chem 1, but often they'll say, hey, can you send me the link to that video from when we did equilibrium? I just want to sort of refresh my memory. And so that's been a really positive that I wasn't even anticipating. So you've heard a lot from me, but I want you to know what my students have to say. So these are all quotes from an anonymous survey I gave my students because this was something new I was trying. I've been surveying them quite a bit because I want to know how they feel about it. So this first student says, I think the videos especially were really great because we could get the information and take notes and not have spent class time learning the material and taking notes. We had more time to actually do things. I couldn't put it better myself. More time to actually do things. I like this. It was a lot easier to learn because I could skip things I felt I understood and pause when I needed more time. Again, the metacognition, the idea that the students are aware of what they need and what they're grasping as they go. When studying for the test, I could have Lisa teach me the material again through the video like she would in class. My students tell me that reviewing for tests is way more efficient and way more effective now. I thought that the videos were really helpful because I had to ensure that I knew the material before each mini quiz. That allowed me to truly learn the material. One of my favorites, I like the videos because I could zone out and still watch them again, which I think is really interesting. Think about yourself in a lecture, right? I mean, we all do it. Even the most focused students zone out from time to time. It's okay. The stakes are low when you're sitting in your bedroom watching the video. You can just watch it again. So I think that's been another real positive. And just to give you an idea of some of the support I've received, I've gotten some grants to do summer work related to this. All the LabCast videos were created this past summer with a grant I received. The equipment and technology support has been incredible. I've never had to really ask for anything. It's all there for me. And I also attended some conferences related to some of these ideas of the last year or so. This summer I went to FlipCon, which is the Flipped Classroom Conference, which was really interesting. Any questions you might have?